Kia ora, good evening. A Western Southland man was shot dead yesterday morning in a hunting accident in the Longwoods near Riverton. 25-year-old Adam David Hill's body was recovered by a medic who was winched into a heavily bushed area by helicopter. He suffered a bullet wound to the chest and died at the scene. A member of the hunting party walked out from the scene to notify Tuatapi police at 1:30. All hunters are reminded to correctly identify targets before firing. A post-mortem was undertaken this morning and the police investigation is ongoing. A massive blaze at Livestock Supplies Limited in Ontario Street, Gore, at around 6 p.m. last night caused police to evacuate the town centre due to the unknown nature of minerals ablaze. As a precaution, residents were told to stay airtight and indoors as what was thought to have been noxious thick black smoke covered the skies above the eastern Southland township. Up to 90 firefighters, volunteers, several appliances including a Skylift aerial appliance and a hazmat hazardous response unit were involved in fighting the largest blaze Gore has seen in decades.
The building was pretty well involved and it was just pretty major by the time everybody got here. So they called in crews from Invercargill and there was quite a few surrounding brigades as well.
Witnesses say the fire carried very quickly, leaving thick black smoke over the township.
It was an old timber building inside, like timber structure, so it went pretty fast.
So there were 3 buildings on the site behind us that were linked internally?
Yes, that's right, yeah, and it was quite a strong easterly wind coming in last night too, so it was pushing it quite hard.
Gore residents were on precautionary evacuation standby due to the nature of substances burning.
There was a lot of unknown minerals and that in the fire, so we weren't really sure of what effect that would have. But it's since been discovered what they are, and it's not too bad at all.
So can you give us some detail about what they were?
Pretty much just stock food minerals, like just stock food supplements really.
It was unclear what effects the burning minerals could have on health.
Like we had quite a few guys here last night. There was 3 that got smoke inhalation, but apart from that, the rest of it's been pretty good. So I think a fair bit of the town was shut down while the smoke was going over.
And is this because of the easterly wind just carrying that smoke over, or was it because of the fear of not knowing exactly what was in it?
Oh, you got to take caution first, really. But yeah, the easterly wind was pretty strong. It carried it a fair way.
Another precaution, shifting several hundred litres of acetane, LPG and oxygen from the neighbouring building's storage area onto the street. It's yet to be determined if the medical oxygen has been contaminated.
With the way the wind was blowing, it was quite a concern last night. There's a lot of flammable gases and that in there, but that was all managed quite well. Put it out into a safe place out on the road. So.
Fire investigators are piecing together what may have happened and today we're searching for heat source clues.
The first thing we have to do is extinguish it and then contain it and contain any runoff and everything that's going from there. Pretty much while they're doing that, they're doing the investigation as well. So we have to be careful what we remove while they're investigating it.
It took firefighters around 5 hours to gain control of the massive blaze.
This would have to be the biggest one I've been involved with. It's a pretty major one for the town. We've had some big ones, but not this big.
The last person known to be in the building was its manager and owner of 20 years. However, he was oblivious to what was taking place for several hours.
I'd been at work till about 5 in the afternoon, went home, got changed and showered, and I went to Invercargill to actually pick my wife up from the airport. My phone was flat, so it was off. I was sitting in the airport and some ladies got off a flight a while before my wife's flight arrived in, and then one of them came up and said, "Oh look, is this your business on fire?" And that's the first I knew of it.
After a nervous drive back to Gore, there was reassurance when he saw the fire service had the situation in hand.
Obviously this part of the building's raised, but they protected the neighbours and they've saved one of our old sheds on the corner as well, so no, they've done a marvellous job.
There were a range of minerals on site that may have contributed to the intensity of the blaze.
We make products to either top dress onto paddocks or to make into salt blocks or loose licks for animals. So it's a lot of salt, magnesium oxide, and it got that hot. I think some of it might have ignited the way they were talking. And the sulphur prills, but the sulphur prills are basically inert because they're mixed with an inert clay. to actually make them safe. But I think the fire was actually that intense that they might have burnt as well. And I'm only surmising that the fire service think it might have been sulphur dioxide that the guys inhaled.
Some firefighters were decontaminated as a precaution.
There was quite a few went through that just to make sure that they're all okay.
So what's involved with that?
A really cold shower at high pressure. So yeah, no, there's a few cold boys by the end of the night.
And what about the clothing and things as well?
It all gets taken away and decontaminated by itself, so it's all headed away today.
Concerns for residents' health ran high and the town centre was evacuated.
I apologise to the people of Gore. Just apparently all the restaurants, pubs, even a church service I think was canned.
It's unclear what the future holds for the remaining buildings or site, but the owner is hopeful business can continue.
I'm gutted. I don't know where I go from here. I've been talking to my insurance, and the assessor's supposed to be here before lunch, and then my insurance agent is meeting me at 3. So we've had a meeting of all my staff at home this morning and told them their wages are secure until we find out where we're going. But I can't give you definite answers until I've talked to my insurance and the assessor.
But the plan would be to be back in business here?
I would hope so, yeah.
Margot Sutherland, South Today News. Stay with us. Still to come, South Invercargill residents reject a proposed targeted rate, and we catch up with Bill English in Winton. Welcome back. Democrats for Social Credit is the latest party to confirm their candidate for the seat of Invercargill. Party leader Stephanie de Ruyter will stand again in 2014. Ms de Ruyter says her campaign will focus on local issues relating to the party's 3 campaign themes: economy, ecology and equality. Ms de Ruyter stood for Democrats for Social Credit in 2011 general election, securing 521 votes, or 1.65% of the votes cast in the electorate. The Winton walking track was officially opened at the weekend. The opening comes after 3 years of hard work by many volunteers with support from the Winton Rotary Club.
With the snip of a ribbon, Winton resident Joan Hodges officially opened the 9-kilometre trail that circumnavigates the rural town. Ms Hodges, representative of the property owners who granted all important access to their land so the Winton Trail concept could be advanced. MP for Clutha Southland Bill English says that unlike some community initiatives, the trail is something everyone of any age can enjoy.
A lot of the time we're building, sports facilities, for instance, or cultural facilities. Now the community get behind those because they know some part of the community will use it a lot, particularly our younger people, for instance. This is a bit unique because everyone's using it. What's striking with this is it's had more impact on a whole community than any project I can remember because everyone can get out on it.
Winton Community Board Chair Bruce McHugh says the project provides not only a healthy walk, run or ride, it's also an invaluable promotional tool to attract people to the town.
I'm amazed at the short time that it's been officially open today, but the short time it's been open or available to be used, the amount of people it's brought to the town that come in and they actually ask, could you tell us how to get onto this Winton Trail? And how far does it go and how long does it take and all that. It's really incredible, and of course that's bringing people into the town, hopefully probably bringing a couple of dollars into the community if they have a coffee and a bit of a look around the shops or whatever the case is as well.
It's a great promotional tour, isn't it?
Oh, very much so, and everybody can do it. Families can do it. It gets children learning.
Not too steep anywhere?
No, not at all. I can do it. Children riding bikes for the first time. It always frightens me a little bit when you see them on the streets and that. Now they're on an area where they're completely safe. They're virtually the only ones on it, and there's more and more families, young mums with those buggies. After the children are away to school and they've got the young ones at home, it's quite common to see quite a few of them getting round.
On top of the many hours of voluntary labour, it's estimated there's been in excess of $250,000 worth of goods and services donated to the project, a project Southland District Mayor Gary Tong says should be used as an inspiration to communities throughout the region.
Our communities, I won't name any of them, but some of them do need a bit of a jolt, a bit of a kick, a bit of refresh, and it would be good to get some ideas. we can put it out there, but we need the community's support. We can only administer their ideas and help them out financially. So
That's right, there can be something done, and there's always the Southland Community Trust. It just requires that motivation and ideas, doesn't it?
it does, yep. Positive for everybody, there's no doubt about that.
The 9-kilometre Winton Trail starts and finishes on Moore Road by the old schoolhouse. Hunter Andrews, South Today News.
Anzac Day preparations are well underway throughout the region as Southlanders prepare to commemorate 99 years since the Gallipoli landings in 1915. The War Memorial Gates in the centre of Winton got special attention on Saturday from Lee Burford, who donated his time and company assets to give the Memorial Gates their first clean and as long as anyone can remember. Mr Burford says he's more than happy to carry out the work and it was most satisfying to see the end results. Larger than normal crowds are expected to attend next week's Anzac Day services as the 100th anniversary of the August 1914 declaration of war on the German Empire by the British Empire draws ever closer. Concerned residents and retailers from South Invercargill met today to discuss a proposed targeted rate to cover running costs incurred by South Alive, expected to cost around $100,000 per year. Councillor Lindsay Abbott attended to hear their grievances. He recommended they all make submissions to the draft annual plan.
I've been hearing a great concern about the targeted rate, particularly for South Invercargill, and they're just wondering where the boundaries are, that sort of thing, how much it might cost, and the proposed coordinator fee, or the proposed coordinator for the South Invercargill role.
Which will come from a targeted rate.
Absolutely. And so I've been there today just to listen. I mean, I can't make comment about whether they're right or wrong, but I'm encouraging them to put these submissions in. And I'm saying to them, collective is fine, but individual, go for it. Come before council because we will listen.
First and foremost, make that effort to get a submission in.
Absolutely. Put the questions to the councillors, put the question to the council, and then come up with some ideas. Ideas are good too, and we will listen to those.
And that's all from the news desk this Monday. Sport is along next after the weather. From the news team, good night.